Rasheed Wallace.
Once they got Rasheed Wallace, that team went from being pretty good to being unbelievably good.
Hey guys, this is Dominique Wilkins.
Hey, this is Sean Kemp.
This is Gary Payton.
Hey, this is Pau Gasol.
NBA fans, what's up? This is Vince Carter here.
Hey, what's up? This is Matt Barnes. If you're an old school NBA fan like I am, make sure you check out the Basketball Time Machine with my man Sean David.
Hello and good day, guys. How's it going? My name is Sean David, and I welcome you back to the Basketball Time Machine, your hopefully favorite NBA show. In today's episode, I want to talk about some of the most underrated NBA champions since the 1980s. Why since the 1980s? Well, I only want to talk about teams that I actually have seen play. But before we start with that, let me ask you guys for a small favor. If you're new to the show, please subscribe to the channel and like the video if you enjoy the content. All right, you guys, I would say, let's get down into it. The 1994-95 Houston Rockets are one of the most underrated champions of all time, and there are some obvious reasons why. Number one, their regular season was so-so at best. Throughout the entire season, they weren't able to dominate their opponents, and after winning 2 games, they would lose one right away. During the season, they made a big trade and added Clyde the Glide Drexler from the Portland Trail Blazers, and this did not sit well with many of the Rockets players. They really disliked Drexler at first. Only Olajuwon was happy to finally play with his old teammate again. But even with Drexler, the Rockets had a hard time for the rest of the season. Then the playoffs started, and the team really started to gel. They were beating one team after the other, and even made it to the NBA Finals, where they would face the Orlando Magic with Penny Hardaway, Shaquille O'Neal, Nick Anderson, Dennis Scott, and Horace Grant. So we're talking about a sensational team. Nobody gave them a chance, and then what happened? They destroyed the Magic. Now the reason why I took the 1994-95 Houston Rockets instead of the team that played 1 year prior, well, to me the 95 team had 2 NBA superstars in Hakeem Olajuwon and Clyde Drexler, and Clyde was missing obviously in the team 1 year prior. And also I think that team was more of a feisty and more aggressive team because of Clyde Drexler, who really wanted to win an NBA championship. Plus, if you beat the Orlando Magic and sweep them, I mean, come on, guys.
The momentum, them going in the locker room, they had a big old lead and we cut it down to 11, and we felt real good.
As the second half began, Houston looked for a new start.
Smith for 3!
And Kenny Smith made sure that it was a good one.
Here's Smith. Yes, a 3!
Kenny just was unconscious, and I told him, keep shooting. And you just saw the confidence. He said, Mary, don't even worry about it. I'm not going to hesitate.
Kenny Smith continues to hit from downtown.
Each team had made its run, and now the game would settle into a titanic battle of wills.
Here we go.
So many moves, so much power. Unstoppable. He does it all. He is the complete package on the basketball court.
And the next team that I have on my list are the 2004 Detroit Pistons. This is a team that hardly anybody speaks about. But if you take a closer look at the roster, you have to realize that this was a true definition of a great team. I mean, Chauncey Billups, Rip Hamilton, Tayshaun Prince, Rasheed Wallace, and Ben Wallace. Come on, guys. I know this is a team without a true superstar, but with 5 great players that could really defend and hustle and beat opponents physically and mentally. If defense really wins championship, then this team truly deserves to win at least 1 championship. And they beat the Lakers super team with Shaq, Kobe, Peyton, and Malone.
The 04 championship for me is a championship that came out of nowhere.
The Pistons, I have not seen picked to win the series anywhere.
Nobody gave them a chance. Nobody gave the Pistons a chance against the Lakers. Nobody.
The series is won by Lakers. Lakers, long or short? 6 games.
The 2004 Detroit Pistons, you have to begin with Ben Wallace.
And so the hard at work motto and going to work and everything of that. Perfect. Ben Wallace was perfect for the city of Detroit.
Rip's going to attack. To Wallace!
So you begin with Ben Wallace, who was given empowerment and said, hey, look, Ben, lead this team. We're going to do it defensively. So now you surround him with Tayshaun Prince. Now you have two great defenders there.
Reggie Miller! And it's blocked again! Oh! How did Prince get there?
You go to Chauncey Billups. He was taught the game by Larry Brown. So now he comes under the Larry Brown umbrella, and all of a sudden, Chauncey Billups becomes a leader.
Here's Billups on a drive.
Then you throw in what I like to call the Energizer Bunny Rabbit, Rip Hamilton. Rip Hamilton just ran off picks, ran off picks, ran off picks, ran off picks.
Low post to Rip.
But there was a piece missing. You bring in Rasheed Wallace.
Once they got Rasheed Wallace, that team went from being pretty good to being unbelievably good. And that really was the difference.
I think then you began to wonder, okay, could this be the year?
It's time. It's playoff time, Detroit. Let's go to work.
Now the next team that I want to talk about is the 1992 Chicago Bulls. And it's kind of interesting if you talk to NBA fans and analysts talking about the greatest Chicago Bulls team. Obviously everybody talks about the 72-win Chicago Bulls, which totally makes sense to me. They are the greatest team of all time. But because of that, many people forget how good the 1992 Chicago Bulls team were. They were so close to win 70 games that season. They ruined it at the end of the regular season, but they were insane. You had Scottie Pippen, Michael Jordan, Horace Grant, B.J. Armstrong, John Paxson, and a very, very good supporting cast. And I just want to make sure that we give that team credit because, yeah, obviously, when you have so many great Chicago Bulls team, it's easy to forget about that team.
You came out knowing that you're going to face a challenge every night. So we came out with a focus in mind to duplicate, if not exceed what we did the previous year.
He drives in, and it's Michael. Here's Scottie Pippen to Michael Jordan. What a finish!
If the Bulls felt any pressure, they didn't show it. They played from the start as if their storybook season of a year ago had never ended.
What a way to start the season.
Reeling off 14 wins in their first 17 games, they began as the league's hottest team and simply refused to cool down.
Here comes Jordan to Pippen. Yeah!
We're trying to focus on winning streaks. Get a 3 or 4 game winning streak here. Forget about a loss. Come back, get a 3, 4, or 5 game winning streak the next time out. That's the way you have to play this game, and that's kind of our focus.
Chicago's success had always focused on Michael Jordan, but this year, more than ever, he would share the spotlight with another superstar.
Jordan with it. Pippen all the way. Blocked by Pippen. Scottie on a break.
And last but not least, to me, the greatest underrated championship team of all time, the late 80s/1990 Detroit Bad Boy Pistons championship team. To me, it's just a crime that nobody gives them the credit that they deserve. I mean, if we take a look at the roster, you had Joe Dumars, Isiah Thomas, Dennis Rodman, James Atwood, Bill Laimbeer, Vinny the Microwave Johnson, Mark Aguirre. I mean, that team was stacked with great players. And if you take a look at what they have achieved, they beat the Lakers, they beat the Boston Celtics, they beat the Chicago Bulls, so they beat Michael Jordan, Magic Johnson, and Larry Bird. I mean, you can love them or hate them, but we gotta give credit where credit is due. That team, to me, is one of the greatest teams to ever play basketball.
Walk out, feel like they won't win.
Do it, Detroit. Keep the crowd roaring. From New York, Chicago to Portland. Pump it up because this jam for you. Show the world what the real bad boys can do. We swept the Lakers in 4. Now we're back to take the title once more. Cause we're bad, not meaning bad, but good. Hammer time, so let's make it understood. You're gonna get deep, victory is sweet. The score don't lie, and the rest don't cheat. We're the Pistons, yeah, we love comp. Bring on the best and watch them get stomped by the world champions, #1. In Detroit, we get the job done. With a slam dunk, we play to win. And after this year, we're gonna do it again.
It felt like we were gonna win, and we really knew we had an ace in the hole, and that was our defense.
Out of the lane against Laimbeer. Turned, ball swatted away. Price has his pocket picked by Isiah. Looking inside for long, a step in front, a steal by Sally. The Pistons are feeling it, and they're doing it the old-fashioned way.
right, you guys, that was it for today's episode. I hope you enjoyed this video. Don't forget to leave a like, subscribe to the channel, and post in the comments what to you is the most underrated championship team of all time. Let me know in the comments below, and I'll see you next time on the Basketball Time Machine.